he went home and took the third ox and drove it off without his wife knowing anything about it. But the robbers knew all about it, and they told the youth that if he could steal this as he had stolen the two others, he should be master of the whole troop. So the youth set out and went out to the wood. And when the man was coming along with the ox, he began to bellow loudly, just like a great ox somewhere inside the wood. When the man heard that, he was right glad, for he fancied he recognized the voice of his big bullock, and thought that now he should find both of them again. So he tied up the third, and ran away off the road to look for them in the wood. In the meantime, the youth went away with the third ox. When the man returned and found that he had lost that too, he fell into such a rage that there was no bounds to it. He wept and lamented, and for many days he did not dare to go home again, for he was afraid that the old woman would slay him outright. The robbers also were not very well pleased at this, for they were forced to own that the youth was at the head of them all. So one day they made up their minds to set to work to do something which it was not in his power to accomplish, and they all took to the road together and left him at home alone. When they were well out of the house, the first thing he did was to drive the oxen out on the road, whereupon they all ran home again to the man from he had stolen them, and right glad was the husband to see them. Then he brought out all the horses the robbers had, and loaded them with the most valuable things which he could find, vessels of gold and silver, and clothes and other magnificent things, and then he told the old woman to greet the robbers from him, and thank them from him, and say that he had gone away, and that they would have a great deal of difficulty to finding him again. And with that he drove the horses out of the courtyard. After a long, long time he came to the road on which he was traveling, when he came to the robbers, and when he had got very near home, and was inside of the house where his father lived, he put on a uniform which he had found among the things he had taken from the robbers, and which was made just like a general's, and drove into the yard just as if he were a great man. Then he entered the house and asked if he could find a lodging there. "No, indeed you cannot," said his father. "How could I possibly be able to lodge such a great gentleman as you? It is all that I can do to find clothes, bedding for myself, wretched they are." "You were always a hard man," said the youth, "and hard you are still if you refuse to let your own son come into your house." "Are you my son?" said the man. "Do you not know me again, then?" said the youth. Then he recognized him and said, "But what trade have you taken that has made you such a great man in such a short time?" "Oh, that I will tell you," answered the youth. "You said that I might be able to do anything I liked, so I apprenticed myself to some thieves and robbers, and now I've served my time and have become master thief." Now the governor of the province lived by his father's cottage, and this governor had such a large house, so much money that he did not even know how much it was. And he had a daughter too, who was both pretty and dainty and good and wise. So the master thief was determined to have her to wife, and told his father that he was to go to the governor and ask for his daughter for him. "If he asks what trade I follow, you may say that I am a master thief," said he. "I think you must be crazy," said the man, "for you cannot be in your senses if you think anything so foolish." "You must go to the governor and beg for his daughter. There is no help," said the youth. "But I dare not go to the governor and say this. He is so rich and has so much wealth of all kinds," said the man. "There is no help for it," said the master thief. "Go you must, whether you like it or not. If I cannot get you to go by using good words, I will soon make you go with bad ones." But the man was still unwilling, so the master thief followed him, threatening him with a great birch stick, till he went weeping and wailing to the door of the governor of the province. "Now, my man, what's amiss with you?" said the governor. So he told him that he had three sons who had gone away one day and how he had given them permission to go where they chose and to take what they fancied. "Now," he said, "the youngest of them has come home. He has threatened me till I have come to you to ask for your daughter for him, and I am to say that he is a master thief." And again the man fell a weeping and lamenting. "Console yourself, my man," said the governor, laughing. "You may tell him from me that he must first give me some proof of this. If he can steal the joint of the spit in the kitchen on Sunday, every one of us is watching it, he shall have my daughter. Will you tell him that?" The man did tell him, and the youth thought it would be easy enough to do it, so he set himself to work to catch 3 hares alive, put them in a bag, clad himself in some old rags that he looked so poor and wretched that it was quite pitiful to see him, and in disguise on Sunday forenoon he sneaked into the passage with his bag, like any beggar boy. The governor himself and everyone in the house was in the kitchen, keeping watch over the joint. While they were doing this, the youth let one of the hares slip out of his bag, and off it set, and began to run around the yard. "Just look at that hare," said the people in the kitchen, and wanted to go out and catch it. The governor saw it too, but said, "Oh, let it go. It's no use to think of catching a hare when it's running away." It was not long before the youth let another hare out, and the people in the kitchen saw this too, and thought it was just the same, so again they wanted to go out and catch it, but the governor said, no, that was no use to try. Very soon afterward, however, the youth let slip the 3rd hare, and it set off and ran around and around the courtyard. The people in the kitchen saw this too, and believed that it was still the same hare that was running about, so they wanted to go and catch it. "It's a remarkably fine hare," said the governor. "Come and let us see if we can get a hold of it." So out he went, and the others with him, and away went the hare, and they after it, in real earnest. In the meantime, however, the master thief took the joint and ran off with it, and whether the governor had any roast meat for his dinner that day, I know not. But I know that he had no roast hare, though. He chased it until it was both tired and hot. At noon came the priest, and when the governor had told him of the trick played by the master thief, there was no end to the ridicule he cast on the governor. "For my part," said the priest, "I cannot imagine myself being made a fool of by such a fellow as that." "Well, I advise you to be careful," said the governor, "for he may be with you before you." But the priest repeated what he had said, and mocked the governor for having allowed himself to be made a fool of. Later in the afternoon, the master thief came and wanted to have the governor's daughter, as he promised. "You must first give some more samples of your skill," said the governor, trying to speak him fair, "for what you did today was no such a great thing after all. Could not you play a really good trick on the priest? Or he is sitting inside there and calling me a fool for having let myself be taken in by such a fellow as you." "Well, it would not be very hard to do that," said the master thief. So he dressed himself up like a bird, and threw a great white sheet over himself, broke off a goose's wings, and set them on his back, and the attire climbed into a great maple tree which stood in the priest's garden. So when the priest returned home in the evening, the youth began to cry, "Father Lawrence, Father Lawrence!" "Who is calling me?" said the priest. "I'm an angel sent to announce to thee that because of thy piety thou shalt be taken alive into heaven," said the master thief. "Wilt thou hold thyself in readiness to travel away next Monday night? For then I will come and fetch thee, and bear thee away with me in a sack, and thou must lay all thy gold and silver and whatever thou must possess of this world's wealth in a heap in thy best parlor." So Father Lawrence fell down on his knees before the angel and thanked him, and the following Sunday he preached a farewell sermon and gave out that an angel had come down into the large maple tree in his garden and announced to him that because of his righteousness he should be taken alive into heaven, and thus preached and told this everyone in church, old and young. wept. On Monday night, the Master Thief once more came as an angel, and before the priest was put into the sack he fell on his knees and thanked him, but sooner was the priest safely inside it, the Master Thief began to drag him away over stocks and stones. "Oh, oh!" cried the priest in the sack. "Where are you taking me?" "This is the way to heaven. The way to heaven is not an easy one," said the Master Thief, and dragged him along till all he had done but killed him. At last he flung him into the governor's goose house, and the geese began to hiss and peck at him till he felt more dead than alive.